Cheers, I do, buckaroos. Hecker, it's a glorious Saturday as I do this video. Well, it's a rainy Saturday here in the Ozarks, actually, but nevertheless, I make the best of it. Hey, this is my first beer of the day, believe it or not, Centennial India Pale Ale. I always say that because I don't know how many videos somebody will write, well, you were hammered. It was my actual first beer of the day. They don't believe it. I tell people if you act like this all the time, no one knows when you are drinking. Anyway, I digress. Boulevard Centennial India Pale. This was in their new mixed pack, 12 pack. It is 5.9%, 50 IBUs, which is on the light side for an IPA these days. However, being a Centennial India Pale, I feel like we went back to about 2000. We went back in time, man, to when everybody was making a Centennial IPA until people thought IPAs had to taste like fruit juice. Anyway, let's see. I did see the date on here. Now I'm not. There it is. So if I can get my eyes to focus, it's got a date of the Best Buy date of January 17th of 20. So we're certainly within that parameter. I mean, this just became available in my neighborhood. I just picked it up yesterday, and last week it wasn't there. So I know it's new to my neck of the woods anyway, if nothing else. It does have a beautiful aroma. I remember years ago, many decades, when I first had the Founders Centennial IPA. That was brilliant. But it seems like breweries have gotten away from that too. It became all about the West Coast, which was tropical fruit, then it became about the hazy, which was mostly creamy orange and grapefruit notes. But this is rather refreshing. Not that you won't get fruit notes from a Centennial, but it's a little bit different than say Hopsike, Mosaic or Galaxy, that kind of where they're more upfront. Because I am getting plenty of fruit on the nose is where I was going with that. I feel like I'm getting a lot of fresh orange zest and almost like orange blossom like notes as well, a little bit of floral quality. Anyway, I digress. I'm just gonna take a drink, Ookie Diggy. Biscuits, that really is tasty. It's funny. 5.950. It's. I mean, those were IPA stats way back when, or numbers, I guess. People hate when you use. It's not a statistic, Tom. Well, it is the numbers on it. It really is. Anyway, call it whatever you want. 5.950. Yeah, they are APA numbers by today's standards. So I'm almost curious why they didn't call this Centennial APA. But anyway. Regardless, I mean, it is absolutely delicious, to be honest with you. It's something a lot of IPAs don't have these days, which is balance, which means one doesn't overshadow the other. A lot of today's IPAs seem to go way too light on the malt to get those hot flavors out, but what you have is a very unbalanced beer, which tends to get bitter. And they tend to get cloying. You get those cloying notes that it's good on the first sip. By the time you get to the end, though, you're wishing it was over. This has some, big malt and intense hop up front. I feel like I'm picking up some stone fruit in the middle. And then we just kind of clean up nicely. I'm actually getting some lingering herbal notes in the finish. It's very nice. I'm using my Crown Valley glass here. Oh goodness, it really is good, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm kind of it's not. I'm not surprised that Boulevard is making good beer. That's not what I mean. It's just it kind of surprised me. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like a like comfort food. You know what I mean? Like for instance, I'm making chicken and dumplings for dinner. Well, it's not necessarily a type of food that's popular these days, especially with millennials. But an old guy like me, it just feels like home. And that's kind of how I feel about this beer. It just kind of brings me back to when craft beer was just about making good beer before it became about trends and marketing, when it was just about making good beer. And, that's what Boulevard has done for, what, 20 years or so? Anyway, well, about 20 years. I think they opened up in '89, if I remember correctly. But so they've just been doing great stuff for a long time. And they tend to get overlooked by some of the darling crafts that are doing more trendy beers. We're focusing on trends rather than just making a quality product. And I think that's what Boulevard does well, and that's what Boulevard's done here. So there you go. Ah, biscuits. That's just damn tasty. I am Tom the Beer Whisperer, beer evangelist, prolific beer drinker, beer wisdom man. Ah, all around good guy. Cheers, y'all. Dang, that really was tasty. I gotta tell you, man.